Good afternoon and welcome to our interview segment. My name is Alex Xing. I'm a host of Focus Media. Today, we have the pleasure to invite Angela Hill to be our guest. And Angela Hill is a prominent political figure in the municipal politics. She's running for the nomination for the Conservative Party in the electoral district of Vancouver Granville. I would ask Angela to introduce yourself and say hello to our audiences.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me today. My name is Angela Kate Hare. I'm a longtime Vancouver resident. I'm a mom of 3 children. I won the municipal election with ABC and Ken Sim. I'm a park board commissioner, and I've moved a lot of motions, and I've done very well for the city so far.
Also, I know you have been involved in the community service and your contribution for the community. And can you introduce your background and experience?
Sure, thank you so much for that question. First, I'd like to mention that I've done 3 degrees as well. I've done a degree from Simon Fraser University. I've done my education degree at Western. And I did my master's degree at McGill University. So I finished 3 degrees. Recently, we won an election with the municipal government. And with that, I had the privilege and honor to get many things accomplished within the city of Vancouver. Firstly, I was able to successfully move and pass a motion which would remove the temporary bike lanes from Stanley Park.
Yeah, what's your consideration when you had the motion to remove the bike lane from the Stanley Park?
The idea behind the motion was there was a silent majority, a lot of people that were not happy that there was a temporary bike lane, which was introduced during COVID in Stanley Park. And during COVID, which was an emergency situation, the bike lane was introduced for safety reasons, to make sure that there's fair distance between people, to make sure they don't get sick, which is reasonable. During that time, it was emergency time, and we wanted to make sure that the citizens of Vancouver were safe, yet able to go outside and enjoy the weather and exercise. And exercise is very important for mental well-being. However, after COVID was over, I guess, or it was controlled, the temporary bike lane still remained. And many people said, well, this was a temporary situation. Why is it that we don't have 2 lanes back in the park? Now, some people don't realize with being down to 1 lane, Stanley Park was affected. There's a lot of small businesses and restaurants that were affected by this because the Vancouver buses or the Translink was not operating as well. So many people were seniors, or they might not have cars, and they don't bike necessarily. They did not have equitable access into the park to enjoy this park that is adored by so many.
Also, I'm curious about the priority issues, and you discussed in the riding, Vancouver Granville electoral district, safety, affordability, and fiscal responsibility. Why you consider those issues as the priority issues?
Sure. I'm going to tie this back into the work that I do right now. Let's start with safety. About 8 weeks ago, I passed a motion at the park board level to get stricter on the bylaws for the tents and the encampments. So the tented encampments, I guess, in the parks. And the reason this ties into safety is because many people who are repeat offenders are getting out and repeating their crimes. So this is a big concern also in Vancouver Granville and federally as well. So if you listen to some of the conservative messaging, they are actually addressing this big issue. Now, that also ties into a big epidemic here in Vancouver and across Canada, frankly, is the drug epidemic. We have safe injection sites are not working. They are not effective as they are in Europe. The other issue is the passing or the decriminalization of more harsh drugs. So two issues which also connect to crime as well. So safety is a big issue, and we want to address these things. And I'm passionate about this because I think the programs that they introduced, and the party would concur with us, they are not working. So the safe injection sites and decriminalization was with the idea to account for people's addictions and maybe curve their means of getting illegal drugs on the streets, but it's not the case. Actually, it's causing more problems.
What's your consideration of the affordability as a priority issue in the district?
Let me tell you a story, actually. I've got an 18-year-old who just graduated, got into all his universities. And I'm a proud mom. Got into the business program. He's accepted at McGill University. He's got a 96, 97 average. He said to me a month ago, Mom, I'm going to go to a Canadian university, but I'm not staying in Canada. I maybe cannot afford to stay here. And I'm thinking of Dubai. And I started laughing. I said, where are you getting this idea from? It's heartbreaking as a parent and a citizen when you see the youth thinking they cannot afford the very country that your parents might have came from. I'm born and raised here, but my parents are from abroad. They're immigrants. But they came with a dream, and you never think that your children might have to move, or this is their thought. Now with this, there's a lot of taxes. The carbon tax is a big issue as well. And also housing inventory. So at the federal level, the party has mentioned that they want to increase inventory. So there's a number of things for affordability. I'm focusing on housing particularly. Is inventory is one big deal. So bringing more inventory into and having incentives for inventory of housing, so people can afford to stay here. But also the carbon tax as well. So they are going to cut the carbon tax. And just recently he was talking with the GST as well. So we need to cut the tax in order for people to make it more affordable here.
So what about your concern for the fiscal responsibility?
Well, with the current government, there's no accountability. And we know that. Money is going out, money is being printed, and yet we don't know where it's going most of the time. We have to account for what is the project, what are you trying to accomplish? Did it get accomplished? And if it's not working, we need to stop it and think of a different way. So with this new government that will be coming in, the Conservatives, they're looking at getting stricter on how the money is being spent. Is it accountable? Do we have records of where it's going as well? So Pierre has mentioned this as well.
Yeah, basically from the same riding, right? So there is a diverse population and from different population.
Yes.
So your concerns, your interests, your benefits, also your demands would be different.
Yes.
If you put that's your priority issues, but maybe for other groups from the same riding, they have other concerns. And how would you reconcile the diversity of their
That's a great
interests?
question. Yeah. I'm very fortunate because I've already won an election, and I also have deep community roots from volunteering, being in the community for a long time, but further because I'm elected. So I'm involved in Vancouver at many different levels. I'm already reaching out to different community members. May that be the Punjabi, the Chinese, the Jewish people as well. I've had the privilege of being able to connect and listen. So my job to represent these communities is to listen, to be compassionate. I'm born and raised here, but I'm also a minority. So I have the benefit of both worlds. I can see things from different perspectives as a mom, as a female, but also as an entrepreneur as well. When you have such a vast, diverse experience in life, you also have compassion towards what people's needs are as well. So yes, the party will have their priorities, but we will also work in correlation with the community to see what other concerns are there and how can we help Vancouver Granville. My goal is to win 3 to 4 different elections so we have a great impact in the long run.
SMP, basically you represent the Vancouver Granville district.
Yes, it is.
However, you will work for the federal government. At the national level, do you still have the same concerns, the priority issues?
Oh, of course. Those issues actually are from our federal level and they trickle down to our communities. That's why we have ridings. So each riding in Vancouver is going to be represented by a person. When we get information from Ottawa or maybe from our community as well, Vancouver Granville, it's my job to go to Ottawa or come back to the community and communicate this is what's happening. Not only am I connecting with Ottawa, but I'm also connecting with the citizens in the Vancouver Granville. That's why we have ridings.
Yeah, but for the national level, across the whole country, there are so many different provinces. How would you reconcile the differences?
So what you're basically asking is, what if a different province has a different priority than our own?
Yes.
Right? But that's why we work as a team. And I could tell you one thing, safety is not just a Vancouver problem anymore. This is across Canada. So we are more similar to the rest of Canada than we are different. But we have to, like, let's say, for example, our issue is more severe. We might need more resources. We might need more funding. We might need more grants. That's what my job is, to go back and say, look, yeah, this might be an issue somewhere else, but we are in dire need. The crime has increased X amount. You know, this has happened last week, you know, whatever the situation may be. And we go back and we communicate and we try to get resources back to the West from Ottawa. Often it's been complained that the West is forgotten. So my job is going to be to make sure that we're not forgotten. And again, it's teamwork. There's going to be other people that are elected. And it's important to, look, we don't always have to agree on everything, but we do have to get along to get more resources into the West.
Yeah, even personally, I agree with the priority campaign issues.
Yes.
And what's your vision and what could be the proposed solutions to all those issues?
That's a big question.
Yeah,
That's a very big question.
It's challenging, yeah.
Yes. With the safety issues, I'm going to go back to the release of people that have criminal records or people that are being released. And they're doing the repeat offenders, right? A solution to that is also getting stricter on the rules and regulations on whether repeat offenders are released into the general population, or are they going to be looked at stricter rules and regulations around that. So something simple like that. We have to look at the rules and regulations, come up with policies that work, and they work for the general population. Same thing with drugs and injection sites. It was an idea that was brought in because it's working in some European countries. It's not that it doesn't work in other places, but they also have more resources. So the idea was great, but are the resources there for this to be sustainable and effective as well? Well, it's not. People are on the streets. If you look at downtown Hastings even, or the east side, the situation's gotten worse. And I feel, and the party would concur with this, that we've actually failed the Canadian population by the homeless situation, the drug addictions, the mental health of people as well, which is being ignored.
So what about the economic growth and affordability issue, your vision and any suggestions?
Yeah. Again, it's the party's vision, and I share the party's vision as well. One thing is the axe the tax. So they are going to get rid of the carbon tax. It's a big issue. It's a waste of money. Secondly, they're looking at the GST as well. So getting rid of the tax over there, and also bringing back inventory, housing inventory, doing incentives to bring in densification and more incentives for builders to build more homes. So this is one way to, if you decrease the tax, that's going to affect a lot of people. Just something, it may seem small, but it's actually a big thing, especially for businesses.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and also through this interview, I hope the viewers they can have a better understanding of your vision and also your qualification.
Yeah.
If you have supporters, they want to vote for you to be nominated and as a Conservative Party candidate, how could they vote for you?
That's a great question. A lot of people are confused during the nomination process because it's not advertised as much. But I'd like to educate the citizens of Vancouver, or just generally everybody, to get involved in the nomination race. It's really important. Now, some ridings might only have the one person running, but in my riding, there's actually 4. So it's important to do your research. It's important to know your candidate, and it's important to get involved. So the first step would be to become a member of the Conservative Party. So that's the Federal Conservative Party of Canada. And an easy way to do that is just to go to the conservative.ca website and purchase a membership there. Now the memberships which are different than the donation. So make sure you click on membership. Or join. I think that's a proper icon there. And you can join for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and I think up to 5 years. So a 1 year membership is $15. If you are 14 years old or older, you can join. Even if you just have your PR, you can join.
Oh, even for PR.
Yes.
Okay.
And I ask humbly and also with kindness to join, get your kids involved, get the grandparents involved. It's your right to vote during the nomination. It's important to pick the right candidate during the nomination as well. So that's the first step. Then once you join and you have a confirmation on your email that you have become a member, they will send you emails and updates. Sometimes the leader comes here to town. There are rallies or there's private events or they are simply doing fundraising. You will get informed of these things. But more importantly, you will get informed when the date has been declared for the actual nomination. And that's when you go out with proper ID, valid ID, which has your current address on there, and you come out and vote.
At the end of our interview, I would invite you to say final words to our viewers. And yeah.
Thank you so much. My final words for most of Vancouver and BC, generally speaking, and also Canada, is to get involved in the elections, get involved in the nominations. I have had a great experience municipally. I've gotten a lot of great things done. I've listed 2 things, but I've done so many other things. I made sure the Jericho Pier was approved as well, put $2.6 million into Brock Park. We're bringing in turf fields and great amenities to the southeast side as well. And with that, I've been able to reach out to many different dynamic groups, and that includes our Chinese population as well, Taiwanese, Hong Kong, Punjabi, Jewish, a lot of minorities, also generally the Canadian population. And with my background, my vast knowledge, I think I will be able to successfully bring money back and grants, get recognized out east, that we are here as well in Vancouver and we can do and need a lot of different things.
Okay, great. Thank you, Angela, for accepting our interview.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And for all our viewers, thank you for your watching.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.